My friends, good day. I've been in the car for an hour with the air conditioning on full blast. I could get fined, aren't I? I've been in the United Kingdom for a few days now, and I'm realizing something. In Algeria, when I was a child, we used to say, I'll tell you in Algerian and then translate, let's start Tarajeb, let's it Taweli Ajeb. It means don't make fun of others. Otherwise, one day you might become the subject of mockery yourself. I remember that for a very long time we were told when I was in Algeria, we used to hear from the West. Women in the Muslim world, I'm not saying it's true, but that's what people say, remain minors for life. That means they never reach adulthood because they're always somehow controlled by an adult or something like that. What may have been true at one time is no longer the case today. A woman can buy property, drive a car, travel, get a passport, go out without a man's permission. Even in Saudi Arabia, it's becoming like that now. That's just how it is. But what I see here in the United Kingdom today is that it's an entire country, men and women, who are minors, who have remained minors, who will never become adults. The state has total and absolute control over every aspect of life. Nothing escapes the state. So recently they passed a system, a DSA type system. Soon they will start scanning phone, tablet, and other screens in real time to see if there is any problematic content, and then send it to the police for investigation and analysis. So there you have it. The state has oversight. We as citizens don't. Normally, who watches whom in a normal system? It's the citizen who watches the state. But today, no, it's the state that watches us. And we have absolutely no rights except to strip ourselves, to accept random x-rays or rectal exams on demand. There are absolutely no limits. The state has all the rights. Internet censorship, let me tell you, a huge number of sites, when you try to connect, either they've been censored here by the Great Firewall of China, so either by the British state or by other countries that no longer want to have British IPs because it's become so contentious and problematic to serve the British. Some countries have webmasters who block British IPs to avoid dealing with them. When you visit, they just say, sorry, we don't serve your country. So there's that. You get into a car and there are tons of beeps, gadgets, alarms, things that are constantly going to annoy you. Earlier, I went with my daughter to get gas and I wanted to show her. She's 8 years old, and I wanted to show her because she was very interested in knowing how to put gas in a vehicle. She got out with me, stood about a meter away, and watched. I start fueling and the pump suddenly stops. I don't understand why the pump stopped. And then someone runs out of the station. For safety, she must return to the car. In other countries, girls her age start outboard motors and shoot rifles. You see, while here, it's always like that. Besides, it's not her. She's 8 years old. At least she has the excuse of being a child. But even adults remain eternal children. To tell you, if you look at aviation, for example, the standard is that when you're refueling, when you're fueling the plane, the doors must stay open and you're not allowed to wear a seatbelt. They tell you that. When boarding, if refueling isn't done, you'll hear a message asking you not to fasten your seatbelt. All right, we're no safer outside than inside the vehicle during refueling. So you see, but it's just about control. It's just that they use safety to control you at every moment. So there are a lot of British people, when I talk with them, I thought they were scandalisés, shocked, but that's not true. A lot of them tell you here, yes, the state takes care of us. The state does what's necessary. Yes, here we're safe, all that. Okay, fine, I get it. They really want to be treated like minors. At first, I thought it was a state with totalitarian tendencies facing a people who were fiercely free and loved their freedom and all that. But in reality, that's not true at all. They're actually happy to be treated like children. They're happy with how they're treated. Honestly, I'm done being outraged. I know they'll ban the EPNs and many other things, but in some way people are asking for it. You shouldn't think it's just one-sided. It's not one-sided, really. It comes from both sides. So there you go, my friends. I watch and then, well, I talk to them as if they were minors, me too. I treat them like children. Well, I'm just passing through here, of course. I'm happy with the weather, it's hot. That's good. We've got a good 32 degrees today. So that's really great. I'm not complaining about it. Many believe it's due to global warming and the state can handle it, so it's not a big deal. You know, if they think the state has a thermostat in their offices and they want to turn it like that and change the temperature of the planet, why not, if that's what they think? You know, I'm not going to try to change their minds. I've lived my life and now just watch everything from behind a window. So yeah, it's sad, you know, it's sad, but I think it's the failure of the COVID test. I think at that time there was a big test. Some societies failed it, including here. Those who failed it won't see the light of day. You know what I mean? It's over for them. Those populations showed how docile they were. It's a time when we discovered that international conventions on human rights, constitutions, law, morality, ethics, call it whatever you want, but the terms you want, they're relative concepts. They're not absolute rights. We don't have any absolute or secure rights. They're just rights that the state gives us at its own discretion. They can be taken away from us in the same way. I mean, the moment they're interested in taking them away from us, they take them away. That's it, and nobody will lift a finger. It will be normal. We now live at the state's discretion. Everything we experience, even breathing, is at the state's discretion. It reminds me of a phrase. It's a famous phrase that's attributed rightly or wrongly, but it fits the mentality of the man. Everything within the state, nothing outside the state, nothing against the state. That's a phrase by Benito Mussolini. You see, he's the inventor of fascism. I mean, it's a state that gets into everything between a man and his underwear. There won't be any place in your life, in your personal choices, that won't be micromanaged by the administration, by someone who thinks they know better than you, by coercion. If you don't agree, they'll send you a bill. You'll pay a levy, and after a few, it won't be yours anymore. You'll learn to obey. That's it. It's that simple. Quite atrocious what it's become, what Europe has become. You know, it's really because I know that the United Kingdom, for practical reasons, remains in the European Union. The only thing we did to the British was tell them, after they voted for Brexit, that without the European Union, they'd lose their freedom to move around in the EU. And then when you travel to the EU, we'll give you the runaround. You'll have to wait in the passport line like everyone else. Behind the plane coming from China and Africa and all that, you'll spend 3 hours at the border, you and your children. They'll ask you if you have any cash. They'll ask if you have a return ticket, if you have a hotel reservation. They'll stamp your passport, and there you go. That's Brexit. For everything else, you'll be fully aligned with the European Union, which is exactly our position. We even have attached bottle caps. Just to let you know, we have the DSA, we have pretty much everything. Nothing has changed. Literally nothing has changed since 2000, 2005, since Brexit. Except that the locals here have lost the freedom to move around in the European Union. For everything else, they are 100% aligned with EU policies. Quite scary when you look at it. That's all, friends. Just letting you know I'm here. I might come back to Mauritius later, so I'm waiting to spend the summer. Mauritius in winter, that's winter in the southern hemisphere now, right? So when you go to the southern hemisphere, it's winter. So July and August are the coldest months. The temperature can drop to 19 degrees. So you have houses where there's no heating. The houses are built more for the hot season, which lasts for a good part of the year, so not really for the cold season. So it's not very pleasant to be there right now. So there you go. I'll come back later, and I'll keep you updated a little bit about my plans and all that. That's all. Just a quick hello. Thank you for watching this video up to this point. Thank you for your support and for following this channel. See you next time. See you very soon.